Let's now continue going deeper into the analysis post-election day. For that, we are joined by James Early, member of the Board of Trustees of the Institute for Policy Studies, Washington, D.C. Welcome, James, to From the South.
Good morning. Pleased to be here with you this difficult morning.
James, how can we understand Donald Trump's victory, meaning that the fact that not only he won in the electoral votes, but for the first time also in popular votes?
I think the most significant thing is that 2/3 of the American people in their multicultural, gender, ethnic expressions support the policies and the attitude of Donald Trump towards democracy. So it is on the social base of voters that I think we should pay close attention. Donald Trump is an unpredictable, racist, fascist, misogynist, accused of rape, expelled 2 times in the federal system for charges against him. But the American people, 2/3 of the voters have spoken. That is where the real challenge is.
Do you anticipate Trump's victory will reshape U.S. foreign policies, particularly in relation to China and Russia?
That is an interesting question. It would appear that with regard to Russia, that he may be more aligned in trying to bring to some kind of end the Russian invasion of Ukraine, in which Ukraine will make the compromise that they probably should have made earlier, that they are not going to be able to continue this war. With regard to China, I think it remains to be seen. But Trump as a personality likes strong leaders, and the Chinese leader is a very strong leader of his country. So we will have to wait to see how that gets negotiated. I think the more pressing question in our continent is what will be the Trump's administration's orientation towards Cuba. The Biden-Harris administration intensified the Trump economic warfare against Cuba. What will be the Trump administration's relationship towards the Venezuelan government with Nicolas Maduro is an outstanding question, and of course Nicaragua. What will be the Trump administration's relationship with Lula da Silva's administration in Brazil? These are outstanding questions because immigration is one of the key issues that the American public on both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, have been concerned about. And these economic warfares by the Harris administration, by the Biden-Harris administration, also by the previous Trump administration against Venezuela has pushed out several million people, has pushed out 2 million citizens in Cuba in the last few years. These are economic war push-outs, and so they put a lot of strain on the immigration policy. So we will have to see whether or not they will make some kind of compromise with both the Cuban government as well as with the Venezuelan government to try and stem the tide, breaking this blockade so that Cuba can stabilize its economy and stopping the economic warfare against Venezuela so that so many Venezuelans are not pushed out economically, are intricately tied up with the issue of immigration.
Well, I was going to ask about Venezuela and Cuba, but since you already touched that topic, let's change the question and ask about its traditional allies, especially in Europe and Asia, given Trump's America First approach. So he has spoken a lot about defunding NATO in a way and calling other people to put more. How do you expect that to go on?
I think it will be a tense and somewhat unstable relationship with NATO, as Trump demonstrated before. Objectively, Trump has stood against NATO, and I think that will have great influence on bringing to the table a just peace with regard to Russia and Ukraine. I suspect that the Europeans are very, very nervous today about Donald Trump because they saw what he did in his first term. So that I think that is going to be a more unstable relationship.
The situation in the Middle East has also been a key issue during this whole electoral campaign, especially in terms of the Israeli aggressions against the people of Palestine and Lebanon. How do you see Trump's return to power shaping that conflict over there?
Well, in some ways, that has already been shaped by the Biden-Harris administration's alignment with Netanyahu, who has already expanded his genocidal war against Palestinians to go into actually try and control the government of Lebanon, and seems poised to attack Iran. And so that this conflict is already set in motion, and I don't think it's going to be easily for Donald Trump's administration to simply walk back on that. We will have to see how this Donald Trump administration handles the U.S. military, with African Americans, Austin and Brown being the two lead men in the U.S. military. Will he keep them in their positions? These are some of the questions, the pressing questions that we must be concerned about, both here in the United States and with the international community.
A question, James, in your view, what long-term implications can a new Trump's administration have both for the United States and for the world?
Well, this is much bigger than Donald Trump. Although Donald Trump is a very powerful kind of personality, it is the MAGA movement which has taken over local, state, and federal platforms of governance, which is the most significant thing. They now have an organized approach, including to the judiciary. We can expect that Donald Trump will appoint more right-wing, misogynist, racist, anti-immigrant justices to the Supreme Court, and that MAGA governments across the United States will be strengthened. So it is the institutions of governance that they are taking over. They have a very strategic plan with Steve Bannon, who is the international liaison with people like Orban, people like Bolsonaro in Brazil. So this is a very dangerous moment that is going to last more than 4 years, because they are taking over the platform of governance. It's not just a personality in Donald Trump that is moving forward.
Thank you, James, for your time here with us in From the South.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you.